Once upon a time, there were three girls talking to each other about sweet dreams that they have, and each one of them was telling about what her dream was. So the first one was talking about her dream, saying that she wanted to marry the chef or the cooker of the king. And the second one was talking about or saying that she's dreaming of marrying the sweets maker of the king. But the third one was dreaming of marrying the king himself. So that made the other two girls feel how arrogant their sister was, and they envied her for how big her dream was, and they felt like she doesn't deserve such a dream, or to marry the king himself, and to have children from him, and to live with him. So they accused her of being arrogant and conceited. And while their speech and their talk about their dreams, the king was going out in disguise, trying not to let anyone know him, and then he passed their house after hearing what they were talking about. So he sent his servant to bring them for him in his palace, after leaving a sign for him to know the house. And after he brought them to his palace, he told them not to be afraid, as he is going to achieve their dreams. And after he achieved the dreams for the first and the second girl, he told them about achieving the dream for the third girl, who was the youngest, saying that he was going to marry her, which was a big surprise for the whole palace, and especially the two girls, and they envied her even more. And then the king and the queen lived happily ever after. And she became pregnant with two children, boy and girl. And then her two sisters became so angry and envied her even more, and that made them take the two babies and kidnap them by putting them in a wooden box and then threw them into the river. So the king then returned to discover what happened, after the two girls themselves also sent someone to tell him about what happened. And when he asked the servants who were in his palace about what happened, trying to figure out what happened exactly and to know the truth, they told him that they know nothing and they are just like him. They have no idea what happened. So the only one was left was his wife, the queen. So he returned to her, trying to know what the situation exactly, but she told him that she is innocent and she knows nothing, but he didn't believe her. So he decided to punish her by leaving her in the prison, or by putting her in the prison for the rest of her life, and he is not going to see her for the rest of his life. And then that wooden box went to an old man living in a good place surrounded with gardens, and then he took the box with the two children in it, surprised enough and happy, and then he took them to his wife, telling her about what he found. And then they decided that the two children, the boy and girl, will live with them. And then they lived happily with them. And after they have grown up, he told them about their story and how he found them in the river, and that they have to know their father and mother, and to love them and treat them well when they found them. And he also told them to be good to each other and never leave each other. And then the old man died after his wife. And then someday the girl asked her brother, who she knew was loving going fishing, or was loving fishing, to go fishing and to go out with him. And then as they go out, the two sisters of the queen saw them. So they went to a magician to kill them, knowing that if the boy and girl's secret has been revealed, the king will punish them and the whole family will return. So trying to prevent that from happening, they went to the magician to kill the boy and girl. And then after the boy went out, and while he was going fishing, the magician went to his sister, and then she actually went inside after telling her that she's one of her mother's friends. And then she asked her to go around the house, and then or to see around the house, and then the girl will let her do so. And while the magician was seeing how beautiful their house was, wondering about its things, stuff, and furniture, she saw a great garden, and in the middle of it was a sink, which was empty. So she told the girl that to make that sink look prettier than how it looks now, she needs to bring that silver liquid, which will make it look much prettier than how it does now. And naively, the girl believed her for what she said and wanted to get that silver water from whatever it is. So she asked the magician where she can get it from. And she told her that she can get it from Wonders Mountain. And once her brother came from outside, or returned, she asked him and begged him to bring her the so-called silver water that the magician told her about. But at first he protested for the reason why she needs it, because they don't even need it, as their garden was already good and wonderful and doesn't need the silver water her sister is talking to him about. But unfortunately, his sister kept asking him to go and bring her that silver water. So he decided to go, and while going, he met an old man, sitting on a chair, and he asked him about the way to that Wonders Mountain. And the old man told him that no one of those who tried to go there went back. After he asked him first what brought him here, because it's probably someone or she's probably someone who doesn't like him or wanted him to get into trouble. But the guy told him that it was his sister who brought him here. But the main reason was that bad magician who made his sister love or like the silver water and desire it and want it. And then the old man told the guy to be cautious, as because he is going there, because there's a lion which sleeps there from time to time. And what can make the guy sure or certain that he won't be harmed by the lion is to see his eyes open, and in that case he can be sure that he is asleep. So the guy did just as the old man told him, and he went there, passing the lion as he was asleep, and bringing the silver water that his sister wanted. And then he returned it with it to her, and she felt so happy because of that. And then on the second day, the magician came, and then the girl told her about her brother bringing her the silver liquid, and that's why the magician felt so angry, because she wished that her brother had died while bringing that silver liquid by being eaten by the lion. So then the magician tried again to entice the girl with another trick, something that can bring from the mountain also, and it was the golden tree that she told the girl that it's the only thing missing so far to complete the whole image of the beauty of the garden. And she told her how the tree will have the golden view with the silver water, and that will bring a great and wonderful view of the garden. And all her brother needs to do is to go to that so-called silver mountain to bring one branch from there to let it grow here. And then he went to the so-called wondrous mountain to bring a branch from the golden tree, and again he will meet the old man. While going, and he will ask him again about he can go to get that branch without being harmed. And then the old man will tell him what to do. So he will tell him that he has to take care of himself and to be aware of that snake that is there. And he has two conditions. One in which he's inside his rolling body watching who's outside, and in that case he's supposed to be careful as he's moving in front of him and try to get away from him as much as he can or as far as he can. But if he saw him opening his eyes and looking up to the sun, then he's asleep at that moment, and that means he can get the branch easily and safely without being harmed at all. And the old man also advised the guy not to be greedy or envious, because he noticed that it's the second time for him to come to bring something from the Wanderer's Mountain, which means that he didn't feel satisfied yet. So that's why he advised him with that, and advised him not to be greedy or envious. And then the guy went there and did just as the old man told him, and he brought the branch and then returned to his sister with it, and she hugged him, expressing how happy she was. And then she planted into her garden to see how her garden changed and became much better, just as the magician told her. with its golden view, plus the silver water, plus the tree giving a good wonderful sound, which was musical whenever any breeze comes towards it. And when the magician came, she saw the golden tree with her own eyes, and she felt so envious and angry, but she tried not to show something like that to the girl. And she said to her, "It's a great view, but it still needs the magician bird, or the singing bird." And she described it to her, and that it looks white in the sun rays, and has golden and silver feather in its body, and it talks, and whenever it says anything, it tells the truth, and it also knows everything, and whoever has it will be the happiest for the rest of his life. And again the girl asks her about where she can find it, and the magician told her that she can find it in the Wondrous Mountain, and she told her that her brother can bring it to her, knowing that this time he won't return trying to get it. And this is why she wanted him to go in the first place. And then when her brother came, she told him about the third thing she wanted, which was the magical bird. But he told her that he went twice to that dangerous place, and he's afraid that in the third time he won't come back. And also the old man helped him twice when he went there, and without him he couldn't have been still safe. And he also advised him not to be greedy and envious, and he said to her, "For sure you're not envious, but you don't feel satisfied still about the things that I've brought you recently, and you still ask me to bring you the third thing, the magical bird. So I'm going to bring it to you, but I hope that I'll come back that time. But anyway, take that mirror and keep it with you to look at it from time to time as I am there. Because if it ever looks black, then I am in a dangerous situation." But even though she was afraid for him and worried about him, she let him go, because she still needed that bird. And then the guy will go to get that bird, and as he's going, he will encounter that old man again, and he will ask him about he can get it, and he will describe for him the road, and how he can get to the bird. But he told him that whoever tried before to go there never returned. He told him that this magical bird is in a white place which has grass and no trees in it, only some stones, and then the bird will come down singing and shaking his body from behind, or shaking his tail, which has golden and silver feather, and when he does so, he's supposed to wait for him until it goes to sleep. And never try to catch it before going to sleep. For if he didn't do so, he will fly off the ground, and at that moment he will turn into a stone, just as all that were before him. And the guy tried to do the same as the old man told him, but when he tried to catch the bird as it was about to sleep, it flew off the ground, and he turned into stone. And at that time his sisters were seeing the mirror turning into dark. So she cried and understood at once that her brother is in danger. So she went to the magician asking her what to do, and she told her she has to go to him to rescue him. And as she's going, she met the old man, who told her about how she was the reason for all what her brother has been through. And he told her that if she really wants to rescue him, she has to be patient enough for the bird to sleep, and by doing so, she's going to repent of what she did to her brother. And then he asked her to go. So she hurried towards the place, trying to find her brother. And then she went there, doing everything that the old man advised her to do. And she waited for the singing bird until he sleeps, and then she held him with her hand, asking him about where she can find her brother. And then he told her that he's among those statues. And then the bird told her, or said to her, that I am all yours and I'm going to help you find your brother. So he told her to go towards the silver fountain and to take the crystal pitcher or the crystal pitcher and to fill it with silver water from the silver fountain, and to spray or throw some of that silver water onto the silver statues, and once she did, the all returned to their previous state, and each one of these statues returned to be a knight again, or a man, and still her brother not one of them, until she sprayed the latest one, which turned to her brother, and they hugged each other so happily, and all the guys thanked her for saving them, and they all returned feeling happy. And then the girl took the bird with her, considering it hers, and he became hers, so she put him in the house, letting him sing as much as he wants. And while singing, the magician came, so he flew towards her at once, pecking her in her face, and missing her out, and dismissing her out. So she went out screaming, and then after 2 days she died after feeling so angry, or because of feeling so angry. And then the bird told the guy and the girl that they have to know their father and mother. So then the guy went to the palace, inviting the king, their father, and asking him to come to see the best 3 wonders ever. And he said to him, I know, my king, your majesty, that you have the best things ever that anyone wants to have in his life, and that you have a lot of money, and good antiques, or great antiques, and strange creatures which no one has. But you have to know that God give us also a lot of gifts I'd like you to see. So why don't you come to see these things? So the king told them that it's going to be an honor, and then he decided to go with them. So the king accepted the offer to see the three wonders that they told him about. And then they let him sit while watching these three wonders and listening to the singing of the bird, as he was surprised of what he is seeing in front of him, wondering about it and about how beautiful it was. And the bird itself was singing for him, saying and greeting him, "Welcome, Your Majesty." And then the king said, "It's unbelievable." Then the bird said, There's something more, my king." "What is it?" "The queen, Your Majesty. How could you believe she's guilty and she killed her children? She's innocent. And these are your children." And then the boy and girl hugged their father, and he took them, and they all went to the palace, to get his wife back. And then the bird was before them, going to the palace, and entered to see the two evil sisters sitting on the table eating. So he said to them, "The king found his children and sends for you." But the sweetmaker's wife was eating the sweet, which looks like balls. So it stopped, or one of them stopped in her throat, and she died. And the other sister, the cooker's wife, feeling afraid how her sister died, or because of feeling afraid of being punished of the king or by the king, she jumped into the water and sank in it and died. And then the king went towards the palace, where he left his wife as a prisoner, taking his boy and girl on both sides. And then they all entered to see her praying. And then she saw them as she was praying, and then she completed her prayer, and then she finished, and she greeted them happily, as she couldn't believe herself and what she is seeing in front of her. And then she was about to ask the king about those guys that were with him, and before she was about to ask him, they dropped themselves into her chest, saying to her, "Mom." And the king told her all the story and all what happened, and how he knew that she is innocent. So he asked her to forgive him for what he did to her, and she said she would. And they all cried, and then they all lived happily ever after. Hi guys, this is me Nader again, and I hope that you enjoyed the story after telling it to you, or after I have just told it to you, and I would like to let you know that this is the same thing that is going to be done, okay, in the course. I'm going to let you read that story, okay, by yourself, and for sure it's written in Arabic. So I'm going to let you read it after memorizing enough words, or after memorizing Arabic words, and for sure I'm going to give you some words, or some Arabic words with each grammar lesson, um, and that's what I'm going to do throughout the whole course, until we reach the story, and then I will let each one of you read the story in front of me. Okay, or I will let you all read the story in a way, um, after, as I said in the beginning, or as I just mentioned, after making sure I will let you read the story, after making sure that you memorized enough words, and that you became familiar with the Arabic words in a way, and with the Arabic language. So you will start reading the story, feeling that it's an easy mission to be done. And sometimes I will give you, literal translation. Sometimes I will translate it to you literally. Okay, even though I'll probably give you the general meaning of the story, right? But at the same time, I'm going to give you I'm going to translate it to you literally sometimes, as you're reading it. Okay, to make you understand what each sentence is saying, or is meaning, or to let you the meaning of each line as you're reading it. Okay, but for sure, after you memorize enough words, you'll get used already to the Arabic words. So you will not always need me to translate it literally to you. Okay, and this is how the whole course is going to be about, and it's going to be like. And I hope that you enjoyed the story, as I told you before, or as I said in the beginning. And the last thing that I would like to say to you is that I'm going to leave you right now with the grammar lesson, to listen to it, as it's going to be the first grammar lesson in Arabic that I'm going to give you, and I'm going to leave you to listen to it, or I'm going to let you listen to it right now. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Thank you all. Hello, this is me, Nader, and this is the first lesson of the Arabic lessons that we're gonna talk about. And right here in front of us, what we can see is three examples, okay? And the tool, or the article that we're going to talk about today. And this letter is for defining the noun, or for determining it, okay? If you wanted to, or for speaking for something in particular, okay? So if you're going to talk about something in particular, okay, you're going to put the before that noun, and it means al, okay, in Arabic, and it means al in Arabic, and it can be pronounced just like that. Got it? This is the first thing that I want you to know right now. Okay, this is this is the lesson. This is what the whole lesson. This is what the whole lesson is talking about today. And this tool, or this article, is used to define or to determine the noun or the thing that we're talking about, uh, So it's the tool that is used for determining the thing that I'm talking about, or to determine the thing, to make it particular. Okay, so right here, right here, to determine that line, okay, I put the before it. I put the before it. So let's say that you're talking, that you and your friend is standing in front of three lines, okay, and you liked, you admired or liked one of these lines, and you said how great that line is, okay. So your friend is going to say to you, what lion are you talking about, or which lion are you talking about? You're going to say it's the lion which is at the right side, okay. It's the lion which is at the right side, okay. So when you said so, or when you said that, he now knew which one are you talking about, because you determined for him which one you're talking about by putting the before the noun, or before the line that you're talking about, okay. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about determining the thing that you're talking about by putting the before it, okay. And as we said, this tool or this article means al in Arabic, okay, and lion means asad. So the whole word is going to be read just like that. It's going to be read, the whole word is going to be read like that. Al Asad, okay? Al Asad. Got it? Al Asad, okay? So this word means the lion, okay? And it's pronounced just like that. Al Asad. Al Asad. So by putting al, okay, in Arabic, I de I determined that noun, okay. I determined it by putting al before that noun, okay. And this is the same thing that's going to happen in the following two examples right here, okay, or in the next two words right here. So right here, this word, okay, as you can see, it's like that, and right now it's going to be pronounced, okay. Sorry, it's going to be written in a different way. It's going to be written just like that. And by the way, this is the usual way of how the word is written. I mean, this is how the word is written in books, okay. This is how usually the word is written in books, okay. And this one, okay, is how the word is written in handwriting, or is so similar to it. It's so similar to how the word is written in handwriting, okay, or with handwriting. Got it? So this is for the first word right here, which is the lion, which means al-Asad. Okay. So by determining it, by determine to I mean by sorry to determine it, I put al before the noun. Okay. To determine which lion I'm talking about. Okay. I put al before it. Okay. And right here in English, it's like that. The lion. Okay. Got it? And the example was, it's the lion that is at the right side. Okay. This is the first thing that I want you to know. The second thing that I want you to know, okay, is this thing. In these two words, you're going to notice a little change, okay. unlike what happened here in that word. Right here in that word, we pronounced L easily, okay, without any problem. But right here, there's a little change that's going to happen in that word, in this word. There's something new is going to happen in that word. Right here, you're going to notice that we're going to add L before the word. So instead of saying al-rajul, okay, like that, we're going to say ar-rajul. Ar-rajul. Okay? Ar-rajul. So what happened is that I skipped that letter by not pronouncing it, and the whole word became just like that. Ar-rajul. Okay, so I skipped that letter and I didn't pronounce it, and I pronounce the letter which is right after it, and at the same time I doubled it. Okay, and this sign which is right above it, means what I'm talking about right now. It means that the letter has been doubled. This letter, which is this sign, which is right above that letter. This sign, which is like fork, which is right above the letter, means that the letter has been doubled, and it became just like that. Got it? It's so easy, and there's nothing with it. Okay? And by the way, this is the same thing that is going to happen to this word right here. Okay? I mean, this word as well, the same thing is going to happen to this word as well. But before coming to this word, I just want to let you know that this word means, this word, okay, which you pronounced like that, which you pronounced as ar-rajul, okay, or ar-ragul, okay, this word means the man. Okay? Right here, the third word, which is this one, okay, means the training. So this word, okay, at-tadrib, okay, this word, which is pronounced like that, at-tadrib, means the training. Got it? Okay? And as you notice, the same thing that happened with that word, okay, the same thing that happened with that word, or the thing that happened with that word, is the same thing that happened, or that's going to happen with that word as well. Is the same thing that happened with that word as well. As you can see, the letter which is right after al, that letter, okay, has been doubled. And this is the same thing that happened here. And if you focused, you'll notice that the sign which is right above it is here, and just as it's here also. This sign, which is like fork, is above that letter, and above that letter as well, because it indicates that this letter has been doubled. Okay, so right here this letter has been doubled, and right here this letter also has been doubled. Okay, and that's what happens with this letter and this letter and these letters as well. Okay, and you can see that these two letters that we've just talked about are also mentioned here in these letters as well, or between those letters as well, or among these letters as well. Okay? Why? Because I started the word with them, and I put L before it. Okay? And as you know, what happens is that I skip that letter, right? When in the pronunciation, when pronouncing it, or when pronouncing the word and in pronunciation. So I skip that word sorry, that letter. I skipped that letter, and I'm not going to pronounce it. So the whole word is going to be as we pronounce it. So instead of saying al rajul, which is wrong, I'm going to say ar-rajul. Okay, ar-rajul. So as you can see, we skipped that letter, and we pronounced the letter which is right after it, and we doubled it as well. And this is the same thing that we did here with that word. Okay, got it? The last thing that I want you to know is that this word can be written in two different in so many ways. It's like that in the beginning, and it's like that in the middle, just as here, and it's like that. Sorry. And it's like that in the end. Okay? And it can also be written just like that. In the end. Okay, so it has two different ways of how it's written in the end. It can be written like that. Sorry. It can be written like that in the end, and also like that in the end. Got it? Okay. So what I want you I also can show you the another example right here. Okay, for this letter, I think that we said that, right? We said that this is how the letter is pronounced, is written. This is how the letter is written, right? This is how the letter is written in the end, right? So right now I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna give you an example for this letter. So it's going to be like that. Sorry. It's going to be this word. By the way, this word means beautiful for the female. Okay. And by the way, this letter, okay, that we're talking about right now, is the sign of the female. It means that this word is for the female. Okay. And for the male, it's like that. It's without that sign. Okay. To mean that this word is for the male. Got it? Okay. So easy, I think. So right now, the second thing that I want you to know right now, so easy also. It's nothing. It's almost nothing. What I want you to know right now is the Egyptian accent. You know, I told you about the official language. I've been teaching you, or I've been telling you about the official language. Okay, I've been telling you, from the beginning, since the beginning of the lesson, I've been telling you about the official language. Okay, But right now I'm gonna tell you about the Egyptian accent, okay? And that's what I'm going to do with you in each lesson, okay? In each lesson I'm going to do the same thing to you. I'm going to do the same thing to you or with you in each lesson, okay? So right here what we can see is that the change that's going to happen is right here in the article that we're talking about right now. So instead of saying al, okay, which is pronounced like that, I'm gonna say there's a change in the pronunciation is going to be said right now. Instead of saying al, okay, instead of saying it like that, okay, I'm gonna say il. Okay, this is how we pronounce that article in the Egyptian accent. Okay, so we pronounce this article like that in the Egyptian accent. Okay, got it? So right here, okay, as you can see, this is the change that's going to happen right here, okay, to pronounce with the Egyptian accent. So instead of saying al-Asad, we're going to say il-Asad, okay? This is in the Egyptian accent, okay? And right here, this is the same thing that we're going to do right here, okay? In this word, we're going to say التدريب instead of saying التدريب in the official language, okay? In the official, it's التدريب, but in the Egyptian accent, or with the Egyptian accent, or in the Egyptian accent, we're going to say التدريب, okay? The official, التدريب. The Egyptian accent, التدريب, okay? It's so easy. The same thing is going to happen with this word right here, but there's a difference. There's a big difference between this word and the other two words, and that's why I left it until the end, okay? Because the difference is is much bigger than these two words, okay? So right here, as you can see, we can change that word to be just like that. This is how I'm gonna show you how this word is going to be pronounced in the Egyptian accent, because right now it's pronounced in the official language, but right now, okay, right now, as we can see in front of us, it's pronounced in the official language, right? So it's ar-ragul in the official language, okay? But right now I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna change to be in the Egyptian accent. I'm gonna show you how it's gonna change in the Egyptian accent, okay? So it's gonna be just like right here. As you can see, the change that is going to happen to that word in the Egyptian accent is like that. Just notice what is happening right now. This is how this word is going to be pronounced in the Egyptian accent. So instead of saying ar-ragul, we're going to say it like that in the Egyptian accent. We're going to say ir-ragil, okay? الراجل. Got it? الراجل. الراجل. Got it? This is how it's pronounced in the Egyptian accent. Okay? With the Egyptian accent. And it's so easy to be understood. Got it? And by saying that, I've almost done and I've almost finished. Okay? And this is this is everything that that's all and that's all I can talk about. This is everything that I can talk about in that lesson, and there is nothing else that I can say. It's everything. Okay, that's everything. That's it, and that's all I can say to you about that lesson. And all I can say is that I'm really thankful that you listened to me until the end, and that you were you stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned, and for listening until the last moment with me. Thank you all. Thank you.